Hi, boys and girls. So, a couple things. I'm really glad you're watching this video. Yesterday, I know I gave you a lot of practice slides, and I do apologize that I gave you so many. To be honest, I didn't realize that I didn't take off the last like 10. But I did tell a couple students who asked me, like, hey, we have a lot. Can we get help? And guess what? I told them just do 10. So, if you ask for help or you ask for clarification, then I'm more than willing to help you out. So just keep that in mind for future reference. Like if you get 25 of something and you're like, this is a lot, contact me and tell me, Miss Smith, this is a lot, or let me know if you're struggling with them. Now, here's the other part about it. I did notice there were a lot, like after I kind of when I posted it, but the problems were really simple. They were actually second grade level problems, the ones you were doing yesterday. Those weren't even close to fourth grade level problems. So that's also something I want you to think about. If those were challenging to you, that's definitely why I gave you so many to practice, because there's definitely some uh, learning that needs to be practiced a lot more with your virtual learning. So I was trying to build your stamina, and but always if you have concerns or you're struggling, please remember to check in with me. I had a few kids come in at the 10:15 math small group session, and they got help, and we did some slides together, and everything was great. So if you need help, you need to get on that 10:15 session and get help. Otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. So for today, our lesson is all about, again, word problems using cubes. This one is really a lot better, I think, than yesterday's because it actually is breaking the problems or allowing you to break the problems down easier, because the circles and underlines and boxes are already there for you. So I worked on this for you today, kind of a progression from yesterday's, from yesterday's, hoping that I could help you out a little bit more, but also give you a little bit more difficult problems. So I gave you the things to work with in order for cubing strategy, so I could reinforce that even more. Please do not forget to watch the Flipgrid, or please don't skip watching the Flipgrid lesson video, because I actually give a really lengthy lesson in there that breaks down a problem about money. And it's a big one that you want to make sure you're paying attention to. All right, so you're in luck today if you're watching the video like you're supposed to be doing, because I'm actually going to work this problem with you on the computer. So here we go. So it says drag the shapes to complete the cube's process. Um, so then solve. According to the library system, there are 238 new patrons, 145 inactive patrons, and 673 active patrons. How many patrons are there in total in the library system? Here's the first thing I noticed: the word patrons. If you said patrons, patrons, had no idea how to say that, what do you think is a strategy to figure that word out? Well, guess what? You guys have something called computers, and you also have this beautiful thing called Google. And when you don't know what a word means, you can just simply type it in, and then it tells you what the word means. So a patron is a person who gives financial or other support to a person, organization, cause, or activity. It's also a customer. It says it right here, a customer. So after reading that definition, now I'm going to go back here, and it says, according to the library system, there are 238 new patrons. So a library customer, basically, somebody who frequents a library. You're in fourth grade. You're going to come across words that are difficult. I'm not trying to trick you. Nobody's trying to trick you. We're just trying to expose you to different things. So if you don't know what a certain word is, don't let that get you hung up on knowing how to do the math. Just look it up. Use your resources, okay? All right, so moving on here, it says drag the shapes to complete the cube's process. So let's do that. So let's circle the numbers. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Again, this nice, beautiful thing, and you might have to resize them, but that's okay. Circle the numbers in the process of doing that. All right, and then the next step is to underline the question. That's what the U stands for. Don't forget that the abbreviations for, or the words for everything, is on this first slide. So if you need to go back, you can do that. And then I'm going to box math words. Okay, I have to reread to figure out what are the math words. According to the library system, there are 238 new patrons. Okay, so I know that means, like, If they're new, it means they're being added on. So I'm going to put a box word around that. 145 inactive patrons, which means that they are not active. They're not coming into the library. Okay. And 673 active patrons. So 673 of them that are constantly that are coming in. They're not new, they're not coming in, but they're already coming in. Okay, so those are some words that are important. How many patrons are there in total in the library system? Oh, I'm so sorry. I was supposed to underline the question. I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to get all of my little lines. I'm going to underline the question. I wonder, oh, I bet I could stretch that out instead of dragging it little by little. Oh, I figured that out. Hopefully you do too. All right, how many patrons are there in, oh, there's that word, total in the library system? Now, some people might stop and think, oh, total, that means I got to add all these numbers. No, don't do that. Sometimes total doesn't mean to add every single number. You have to stop and make sense of the problem. So, according to the library system, there are 238 new patrons. So, I'm going to think on my piece of paper, trusty little handy dandy piece of paper, I'm going to write out the number 238. Now, I don't have, you guys can't see my piece of paper here. So, instead, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to put a little text box here. This should be interesting. So 238, I know, is going to go here. Okay, and then I'm going to do my minus sign. All right, and then I'm going to move that over. All right, so 238. Then I know, ooh, it's going to be finicky, but that's okay. I can figure it out. All right, and then 238, I'm not going to do a minus sign. Oh, I'm going to say 145 of them are inactive. That means they are not going to the library. So does that mean that they're going to be included in this total? How many patrons are there in total in the library system? Let's see. Let's think. Well, my initial thing was thinking, no, it wasn't going to be in total because if they're inactive. But they're still in the library system. Their names are still in there. So I'm thinking this through, and I'm thinking, actually, I might be adding all three of these numbers. According to the library system, there are 238 new patrons, 145 inactive patrons, and 673 active patrons. So these are all things that are in the library system. They're on the computer. How many patrons are there in total? It doesn't say anything in the question about how many total active people are there or how many total people are coming to the library. It's saying how many are in the library system. So you know what? I do think I'm actually going to be adding all three of these numbers. So that's interesting. All right, so here we go. Let's add all three of those numbers. So we have 238 plus 145. Well, if you watch my Flipgrid video, you will learn that Mrs. Smith very much does not like when people add more than two numbers at a time. So for right now, I'm going to take my little pin here. I think. Nope, I'm going to do a line. I'm going to do my little line, and I'm going to say, okay, I got this number. All right. And I got this number. All right. But I still don't have this number, but that's okay. I'm going to add these first. So it's really hard to do that whenever you have no piece of paper to show you. But I can do it on my piece of paper, and then I'll just talk you guys through it. So if I have 238 plus 145, I know. Oh, you know what I think I can do, guys? Nope, just kidding. I know that I have 8 plus 5, which is 13, so I put a 3 in the ones place and carry my group of 10. Then I have 1 plus 3, which is 4, plus 4 more is 8 in the tens place. Then I have 2 plus 1 in the hundreds place, which equals 3. So right now I'm sitting at 383 for this total. Now, oh, I don't want that underline. You guys don't need to do like what I'm doing on the side here. You guys can just do it on a piece of paper. No worries. I'm just doing this to kind of give you a visual. All right, so now I know I had already added these two parts of the library system, but I still need to add this part. So what you do then is you just take your number you haven't added yet, so 673, then you add it to the number you just made, so 383. And the reason for that is because your numbers you want to have your numbers accurate. So when you add numbers together, like you add 3 or 4 numbers together, it gets a little tricky. So you want to make sure that you're doing this step by step. So I'm going to take my third number and now I'm going to cross it out. That's also important, guys. Make sure you cross out as you use them. Cross it out because now I'm going to add it together, and I'm going to do that on my trusty notebook paper over here that you cannot see, but you're going to trust me when I say I have it. Excuse me. And then I have my ones place. 3 plus 3 is 6. 7 plus 8 I know is 15. So I'm going to put my 5 in the tens place and carry my group of 10 to the hundreds place. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 3 more, 7, 8, 9, 10, using some touch math there. I put my 10 down because I have no other places to regroup to. And I end up with a beautiful 1056. Okay, and I don't want that underlined. So I'm going to take that away. And there we go. So then I'm going to double click here, type in my final answer here, 1056. And oh, look how I did that. That's okay. You just take this and you resize it and voila. Just like that, guys. So again, as you solve if you listen to this video, you have the answer to problem number 5. Do I still want you to drag the circles down in the box? Yes, I do. Do I still want you to answer the question? Yes, I do. But now all you have to do is slide 2, 3, and 4 for your assignment today. And then you are welcome to either work on your slides from yesterday if you did not finish them, or you can play Prodigy. So there you go. I hope that you had fun listening to me kind of problem solve out loud with you. And again, there's another fantastic lesson to listen to, if I don't say so myself, on the Flipgrid. So make sure you watch it and have an awesome day.